I ended up getting another Thinkpad. And originally on the listing, this was supposed to be an X1 Carbon 6th Gen. But I am sure glad it it isn't. Because I had regretted making that bid on eBay for that X1 Carbon after I found out that the X1 Carbon has the RAM soldered to the motherboard, so you can't really upgrade the RAM. And the listing was for an 8 gig X1 Carbon 6th Gen. So I wasn't gonna be able to do much with 8 gigs, but at the end of the day, I just wanted it for the processor, because this is supposed to replace my ThinkPad T480S, which I've seen a lot of YouTubers make videos about, and also the T480. But let me tell you something. I've had nothing but you know a bad experience with the T480S and their chargers. For some reason, and this is something that you'll see a lot on eBay. For some reason, their USB-C chargers, they die. It's a pretty common thing where they die. And they have a secondary one which you can use, but you know it just kind of sucks where you can't really replace them. And this one's no different because it's from the same generation. This one also has the two USB-Cs, which I believe both can be used for power. But we'll see how this one works out. But yeah, unfortunately, my T480S ended up dying, and I was just bidding on eBay. But have you seen the ThinkPad T480 or T480S prices lately? When I got my T480S, which is this guy over here, I got it for around $102. Right now they're going for 150, 160, 180. I've seen some even sell for like 200. And it's probably because of all those YouTubers that are hyping it up. But unfortunately, this guy, so the charger went bad, and then I was still using the secondary one. The motherboard just ended up dying, man. So this one no longer has a motherboard. I'm currently looking for a motherboard for it, a replacement, but we'll see how that goes. I think I put a bid in for motherboard, an offer for $50, and the seller accepted. But that's another topic. But back to this ThinkPad. So initially it was supposed to be an X1 Carbon 6th Gen, as I've already mentioned like 3 times. And I didn't really check the pictures. I kind of just took the seller's word for it. But I'm glad I did, because I was disappointed, and I'm pretty happy right now. It ended up being an L380, the Yoga series. And the listing also said that the computer didn't hold charge. And it does boot apparently. And so I thought about it. I was like, well, a battery can't be that expensive, right? So I was like, I might as well give it a shot. But I was really bummed out when I found out that the X1 Carbon line had soldered memory. So, when I got it in, I was like, wait a minute. This is not an X1 Carbon. And as it is, I was already disappointed. So it was kind of like double the disappointment, but it ended up being a good thing that it wasn't an X Carbon, because the Yoga L380 actually does have removable RAM, and it has 2 slots. So I can technically upgrade this to my liking. So, and that's something I'm gonna do. And as you can see, it's in pretty decent condition. I forgot for how much I got it, but I'll go ahead and log in so I can show you guys the listing. And it does have some cracks here and there, but the screen, aside from I don't know if you can see, aside from the keyboard, that's something that I've noticed happens a lot to this generation of ThinkPads, that the keyboard ends up, messing with the screen. But man, I think I paid $47 for this. For $47, really wasn't expecting much, and I ended up getting a pretty sweet deal, man. So it does have some scratches. If you're one of those OCD people, yeah, don't buy these type of computers, man. You're not gonna enjoy them. You can end up regretting them. It does have some cracks, but I think I'm gonna use some JB Weld on it and maybe rebuild this case. As it is, even if I had to buy another shell, man, I wouldn't even mind, because honestly, this computer's pretty great. So far, it's not that dirty, so it could be worse. Someone obviously wasn't that clean with this machine, but that's okay. For under $50, that's a-okay. And no, I didn't have to pay for shipping. The shipping was free. So man, this is a pretty good deal. And like I mentioned, the computer's not supposed to hold charge, but upon connecting it to my charger, it ended up taking charge, and the battery actually holds up pretty well. I'm pretty sure it's not 100%, because when I received it, it was dead. And if you don't know this, I mean, it should be common knowledge. Whenever you leave these lithium batteries, without charge for so long, they do die out, and that's pretty much any battery, right? But last night I charged it to 100% in my truck, and right now it's showing 91%. So yeah, and, it's not new, but man, it turns on. The fact that it works, it's already a win. And I actually ended up going through with a Windows installation. It came with a refreshed operating system, so a reinstall. So that was nice. That was good that the seller decided to do that. Protecting whoever this belonged to. Protecting their files, right? Their info and stuff. And so it actually came with this one comes with an NVMe. I believe it's a third gen, 240 gig NVMe, third gen. Not the latest and greatest, but man, it's an NVMe. And so let's see what processor it was. I know it's an i5 8th gen, but I don't know exactly which one it is. And I know you guys like that type of thing. Intel Core i5 8250U. So it's not the fastest or the best, and it is pretty dated, right? This computer is I believe from 2018, so it's been a while, but it has 4 cores and 8 logical processors. Memory, like I mentioned, it only comes with 8 gigs of DDR4, 2400 megahertz. So yeah, man, the fact that it turns on, the fact that the touchscreen works. Ooh, and guess what? I had never researched about the Yoga series, but guess what? It comes with a stylus, a pen, and it works. Do I want to configure? Sure. Get the app. So I'm not connected to the internet right now, but yeah, it works, guys. So man, that was, I was disappointed because I hadn't made any research on the X1 Carbon, and I just I was just kind of pissed off that my T40S died, and I was just looking for a replacement, and because I didn't do any research, I had put a bid on a machine that was gonna keep me limited at 8 gigs, but that ended up being a good thing. So thank God, man, thank God, because it's not the end of the world, 8 gigs. But brother, it is what it is. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and connect to my network, and let's see if I can pull out the eBay login. All right, so as you can see, it's pretty quick. I did have the chance to kind of update it last night, but let me go ahead and do this off camera really quick. Yeah, I did have a chance to update it last night at the truck stop. So sorry. Oh, okay. Apparently I can't log in. Just give me a second. Yeah, I ended up updating it at the truck stop last night. So so that was pretty neat that the Flying J and the Pilot huh that they have a free Wi-Fi for like 24 hours. So if you sorry about that. My phone ended up cutting off. I'm probably gonna have to make 2 videos or something. Okay. All right. Yeah, sorry about that. My phone ended up cutting off. So this one. See, I'm gonna end up. Let me see if I can zoom in. Oh no, that's too much. All right. So, see if I can see the original. Oh God. What happened? What happened? Oh, there we go. I don't know, something happened. A hiccup. Probably with the updates and stuff. So I ended up yeah, I ended up picking this one up for $44. And like I said, for $40, this is a steal. As you can see, it says Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Carbon Gen 6 i5, 8 gigs, 256 gigabyte PCIe touchscreen. Read description. And so initially when I saw this listing, the read description kind of like threw me off. But let's see, where the hell is this? As you can see, I'm not okay. Yeah, I'm not that big on okay. Not that big on eBay. You know, I do buy stuff here from time to time, but you know, I really don't why is this translating? Why? Okay, so for some reason this translated, and I apologize. It has something to do translate to English. Why? I don't know. Let's see. All right, so can I refresh it? Let's see. Okay. It's the original listing. Well, so I do live in Mexico, so that's probably what's happening. eBay's doing its eBay thing, and you know they track you with your IP. So, yeah. So I do live in Mexico, and so basically what it's saying, it said that the computer turned on. You know that the touchscreen was in perfect condition, but that you had to have it plugged in because it wouldn't work otherwise. You know, it was shut off. And then the seller ended up updating. Oh, it does turn on and it boots to operating system, but the battery does not have any charge and does not hold charge, so it has to remain plugged in. And as you can see, I'm thinking the seller unfortunately didn't have a, you know, I'm thinking he was trying to charge it with a cell phone USB-C, because had he tried with a, you know, like 100 watt, you know, like 100 watt USB-C, you know, charger, you know, he would have been able to tell that this does hold charge. I mean, the battery's not new, but it does hold charge. That's why he sold it for parts. And I'm glad. 44 bucks, free shipping, and I got this deal, man. What a steal, brother. So, yeah, man. Hopefully I'm gonna do another video. I'm gonna go ahead and clean it up, and I'm gonna go ahead and update the RAM. I do have 16 gigs of RAM somewhere, so I'm gonna end up updating this guy to the 16 gigs. And the 16 gigs were from my T480S. So I'm gonna, it's a single DDR4 RAM stick. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Or I do have two, you know, 8 gigs somewhere. Or I might do that just to get the, you know, the dual channel memory. Apparently everyone says it's better. You know, I'm sure it is. I'm just not that technical with it to know the difference, but I might do that. Dual channel memory, 8 gigs for a total of 16 gigs. Or I might just do the one 16 gig stick, and you know, we'll go from there. So yeah, guys, just wanted to show you my brand new ThinkPad. It was my biggest regret, and you know, ended up being a blessing in disguise, man. So trust your gut. Trust your gut. You know, even though you might regret it, trust in God that everything will be fine, and yeah, He delivered. So yeah, guys, thank you. You guys have a good day.